Liam's in here as a behind
guys.
the scenes. Hey, Liam.
I thought maybe Jack got replaced.
Maybe he will be if he
quite.
doesn't show up.
Hey, Liam, how you, bro?
Liam, do you want
That's
to
awesome.
substitute Jack? I don't know how we're going to do this. I can't get contact with Jack. Well, we have Liam. Is Liam meant to be here? Is he? Is that a sign from the universe?
I was just going to be here in the background supporting my friend who's on BGC.
No, Liam, you're going to fill in for Jack. Just do it.
I'm going to send you the background. I'm going to send it to you. Hang on, I'm going to send it to you.
She'll send it to you, and then this will be perfect. Then we can talk shit. We can talk shit about Jack the whole time. And if he happens to show up in the middle, it'll be like this really awkward moment, like, "Oh, I'm sorry, you've been replaced." You know.
The show goes on.
Thank God we have Liam here. Liam here to save the day. What the hell's going on, Jack?
Where do you think he is?
I don't know. He's been busy. He probably just fell asleep, to be honest.
I don't know.
He's awake all Asia time, and he's back in Canada now. So
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure. I don't know like when he sleeps, but it must just be once he literally falls asleep at his desk.
I think he's just like at the desk, like an hour here, an hour there, and
I'll be messaging him, and then I'll go to bed, and then I'll wake up, and he's been messaging me during that time, and then and I can't figure out when he sleeps. So,
all right, here we go.
Everyone looks great. Good. All right. Well, I'm going to let the first person in. We're just going to roll with it. We're going to roll with it.
Yeah. And then I'll have both Michael and Liam do a quick intro of themselves.
Good stuff. Sounds good. Perfect. All right. Let's run, guys. I'm going to let Ben in. It's a Jack. It's funny that you're Asian too, because it's like a Jack lookalike.
Yeah, it feels like just blatant tokenism. Like, well, Jack couldn't make it, so we just grabbed another Asian guy, stuck him.
We have a Jack doppelganger in here today.
Are you saying that River? Come on, you just think all Asians look alike? He doesn't look anything like Jack. Come on.
Right. I've got a picture of all the judges in my presentation.
Oh, this is going to be a fun episode.
Welcome back to Bitcoin's Got Talent. I think this is BGT 5. Yeah, so it's a big one. And we have two amazing guest judges here, Michael Hudson and Liam, who is replacing Jack Liu because there's been all kinds of drama, huge falling out. It's just gossip is spinning. But I'll let you guys introduce yourselves briefly for our audience. Michael, start with you.
First, thanks for having me on, guys. So Michael Hudson, CEO of BitStocks and builder of Gravity. I'm very excited to be here, and I've been a huge fan of this, so I'm excited.
I'm so excited to have you here too. You've been one of my list to get you on as soon as possible. So this is really exciting.
Great.
What about you, Liam? What are you doing here?
Yeah.
What am I doing here? I don't know.
Yeah. What did you do to Jack?
So I was just meant to be here in the background listening. And then apparently Jack hasn't turned up, and Rivers just roped me in to fill in. So here I am.
Don't all Asians look the same? That's what they say.
You can't say that.
But yeah, I work with RelayX, and I'm the output intern actually.
You're the person behind output intern. Have you just outed yourself?
Yeah, well, I mean, something's coming out actually in a while, so we'll see.
Oh my gosh, dude, I love it. I love your tweets. And your,
surprise announcements.
Yeah, your announcement, your analysis on Bitpost the last several days. So wow, I feel like we're it's like this is like finding out who Satoshi is all over again.
Not quite, but I'll take it.
Perfect guest judge then. Perfect stand-in for Jack. We do have our first contestant here, guys. So how would you like to introduce yourself, Mr. Benjamin Skelton? Woo!
Yeah. Well, I'm just a common or garden dev. Happy to be here. Happy to be working on BSV projects. And I got something a bit surprising for you today.
I'm excited. So do we have any other follow-up questions before we move straight into it? Because it seems like you're really excited.
Well, just give me give me one more tidbit about who you are. Something, fun facts, trivia. Get something personal. What brought you to, why'd you come on the show? And I know we're going to hear about your pitch, but give me a little something personal.
Yeah, maybe something up your street, Isaac. I've been involved in things like startup weekends. So familiar with the startup world and pitching and all of that. So judge me harshly.
Oh, I love it. He just set the bar high.
Are you a Brit as well? Is that a British accent I hear?
Yeah.
Oh, nice one.
Yeah.
I see what's going on. Oh, yes, mate. I'll be very soft on you. Old chum.
Really good show, chaps.
Yes. All right, man. What's this? What do you got for us? I'm chomping at the bit here.
I'm excited.
Yeah, me too.
Can feel the good energy coming. I don't even know what's coming, but let's see.
Yeah, you're all into that chi and vibes and stuff.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
Trying to make it entertaining anyway for your show. Okay, we're ready to go.
If you hit the share screen button, should be good.
What have we got now?
We have a black screen.
Let me see.
There we go. Got it.
Hey.
Mm-hmm.
And double mandatory intro. Brilliant.
So, yeah,
So
I got a little.
Are you there? Straight away, first slide, Brit humor.
So I've got a very, very dull presentation to show you. You may know me from BSV apps, with genuine retweets and app testers. Working on these with my good friend Nick, who is a little bit tentative about this. He said, "Oh no, this idea is too Michael Hudson," whilst he was laughing. So maybe I'm left field, huh?
Maybe you're in the right place.
Maybe, yeah. But on the other hand, he's coming around. He's seeing the profit potential, so he may be back. Those two ideas and this one are all about crowdsourcing. Getting a lot of people to do a job for you online, usually using micropayments. So we have experience in this area and we know how the business model works and we know that it can be quite lucrative quite fast. What do you need for crowdsourcing? We need the magic formula, Bitcoin, to enable micropayments. We need people who want some work doing and we need a task that many people can do. Mm-hmm. So this is our idea, with the modest aim of warping reality through mass consciousness.
Ooh,
take that in for a while.
Did that C word? You said that C word, you got my interest.
Mm-hmm.
You look around the world, look at all traditions and cultures, and there is a common belief, a common demand for this. Say, in the Catholic Church, people commonly pay for intentions or indulgences, where you get people to pray for what you want. Now imagine this is common across the world. People concentrating on the same goal en masse. So even the old three witches, it was important that there were three. And then you've got the weird science experiments, which show things like present affects past. So
that Radek Trachbrishrik, I think the guy's name is, that created that experiment.
The quantum eraser. Yeah. If you want to really get freaked out, look into that.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the experiment.
And then, of course, some people think they got Trump elected in 2016 using the frog talisman and all concentrating on that goal. There has been some serious research into this, which seemed to show that these transcendental meditation guys managed to reduce violent crime by something like 20-30% in New York by meditating on reducing social stress. And as far as the workforce goes, anybody can do it. Ideal for crowdsourcing. This is how we enable that.
It's kind of really crazy. Are you saying that, I can post an intention that I would like to pay people to pray for or meditate on, and then people who complete that job will get the payout? Is that
Exactly.
the idea?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Very
it's
interesting.
simple to understand, and that's a benefit, you know.
What are you going to use as a way of measuring a result and a success? Because you've used a case study there, which is actually very measurable. So I'm familiar with those types of case studies where there's a group, I think, of 7,000 people who got together, group meditated, and reduced global crime by, I think, 70+% as a result of doing so. But everything, that was a measurable result. How they measured, I don't know. I didn't get into that part of the case study, but it was interesting. So how would you assume people are going to measure the success of a campaign?
Yeah, that's something we have thought about and could provide some valuable data there. I don't know if I really want to get into the secret source, but we could end up with a cohort of wizards who could be employed.
I mean, there's a lot of validity behind the idea. I didn't expect it to go this direction at all. But it's really cool. That's really cool. I could be very.
I haven't finished yet, by the way.
Okay, keep going. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, you'll love this. Okay, so simple app, post a job, earn money, and what kind of thing could we use this for? Maybe changing people's minds. Like to keep it positive or at least neutral.
Just like that.
Maybe for your own personal success in business. Many ideas. What about the old favorite, the love spell?
Maybe we could.
For you, River.
Yeah. I was thinking maybe if we concentrate real hard, we can get Jack to actually show up.
Shall we do it, everyone? Oh my god!
Seriously, win the lottery, maybe. And then, whilst mulling over this with my good friends, we came across one possible problem. What if it works?
What if it works? God, I just got goosebumps. What the hell?
What if it works? We have a mania, which would exceed cryptomania. People would react if somebody used this to win the lottery. Obviously, the profit, it would be great for us. The margins in this kind of business are very good.
What is that car?
We're like Robin.
Yeah, that's buy your dream car.
Oh, that's somebody's dream car?
I want to see a corner of one of those.
It had to be purple. That was an homage.
I like the color.
Homage to Michael, of course. And our data will be on chain. We will have evidence that it works. Maybe not scientific grade, but it's something. Huh?
Bunch of crazy coincidences, right?
Right. That could get kind of serious.
Okay, so you pay for the job up front, and then you come back and rate the job and say, hey, they must have meditated real hard because it worked.
It worked or it didn't work. And then rank our meditators.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, what challenge do you reckon you have on your hands if it did work? So imagine if it worked with an incredible degree of accuracy. Do you reckon what challenge do you reckon that would present you?
I don't know what would happen. Would you have the intelligence agencies getting interested in you, or would you be oversubscribed with jobs? Good things, maybe.
All right, so hit us with the ask because I got more questions.
Sorry, I've got Jack in there.
We're sorry too.
That's just the Liam lookalike. Don't worry about that guy.
Yeah, that's Liam right there. That's
Yeah.
So I'd like you to let me through to the next round to present the app once finished. Shouldn't take long to build because we have more or less a template from our other apps. I'd like to get a bit more ambitious and ask the judges if they would like to advise, at least on the project. I know River and Michael, this might be right up your street. Maybe Isaac also. I know you're interested in personal positivity. Maybe this chimes with you. And Liam, I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
This is right up Liam's alley.
I've actually spent I was trying to become a monk almost before I came into the Bitcoin world. So I spent quite a lot of hours meditating on retreats. So it feels kind of funny that I've come into this Bitcoin's Got Talent as you pitch this one.
The universe is kind of perfect sometimes.
All right. Let me throw a wet blanket on all this hippy dippy shit for a minute. So just on a very high level, a couple of years ago, I would have said, this is just bananas. No one's going to do it. They're all going to be like, what a scam. You can't prove anything. Where the world is today, I actually think it just might work. There's like a huge hunger for mystical, magical, more, could call it more open-minded view of this type of stuff. But my questions are like, first, it seems to me that, if people buy the causal idea that meditation can bring about a different results, that there are different levels of people in terms of their meditation ability, right? So if I'm like, if I'm going to pay $20 to have somebody send some good vibes my way, I want some master guru sitting up on top of the Himalayas or something. I don't want just like some random guy working at Subway, right? Like, is it purely just post a job and whoever claims it? And then second, what's the mechanism? I mean, it just seems like, even if you use tonic POW campaigns, if you ever tried that, if you put the price high enough for a click, you'll start to get your website flooded with people who don't know what the hell they're doing. And they'll send you messages like, hey, I'm supposed to get money on this site, right? You'll get really low quality people because they know there's money to be had. So if you just post up, I'm willing to pay, even if it's just $1 for somebody to send me some good vibes for this interview. There's no enforcement mechanism to make sure anybody does it. I can just go and claim it and say, yep, I did it. How do you deal with those problems?
Initially, there would be no rating of our meditators, but with the feedback mechanism, you could start to charge people out, more successful people out at a higher rate and pay them more.
So if I go to post a job, I'm requesting a specific person?
We could just pay the ones who are unproven or unsuccessful historically less. Pay the ones who are more successful more. So how do you prevent
the person who's posting the request? So if I don't have to pay, like, am I paying first or am I only paying if it's successful?
You're paying first. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm paying first and then I'm rating afterwards. And then you're saying that over time, people who keep getting low ratings are kicked off the platform, like Uber does, basically.
Or paid very little.
Okay. Got it.
You could have a ranking system of various different levels of meditators. And when you post an ad, maybe you want to pay a little bit more and you only get those top rated meditators or whatever, depending on what the logistics of it end up being. But
yeah, I guess the broader question is like, if you set this up and people paid and posted a job, and then you just put a picture of a person from thispersondoesnotexist.com and said, great, Joe is going to fulfill your request. You're done. And then you get to rate Joe. You could fake the whole thing and no one would ever have a way to prove it.
Yeah.
Like when you order an Uber, a physical Uber has to show up, right? So Uber can't pretend that they sold you something. So, and sometimes the thing the person requested, they would get, maybe just because they believed they would get it, or maybe because it was going to happen anyway.
Maybe that's the beauty of it. Maybe they believed so much that they had it that they end up manifesting it themselves. And the power.
Well, then you can make it a lot easier by just saying, you could just say pay $1 to put your intention on the blockchain, and then that's it, right? Like you wouldn't need to pretend that there was I'm not saying you're going to do this, but there's no way to prove that you're not doing that. So I just see that as something. How do you allay that fear for the people who want to use the service? And then I'll stop asking questions.
It gets a little bit tricky too, because you can also have people who come in and they're not as an expectation, but there are people who want to give bad intentions and who don't necessarily know how to give the good, pure intentions as well. So there is that kind of, it's
would adding money to the equation. So I know people like certain things can make money weird, right? If I ask a buddy, hey, will you come help me move on Saturday? He'll probably say, yeah, I'll give you some pizza. If I say, hey, I'll pay you $25 to help me move, he might be more likely to be like, no, I'm not going to come work. Right. So saying, hey, I'll pay you $5 to pray for me. Like, does that mess it up somehow?
I don't know. It's an interesting, experiment.
Yeah. So I have some thoughts. I don't know. I don't think it's possible to kind of make it a metric of like, okay, I want you to pray for this guy to be, relieved of his sickness, and then have that as a metric of like, oh, if he doesn't get, heal from your prayers, then this is a failed project. Rather, I think what the you can do something like, you can link maybe with like Insight Timer, where you have people who've got like 1,000 hours of meditation behind their belt, and then you onboard these people, and then you sell their services of like offering meditation, because I mean that's kind of what these Buddhist temples do, right? Where you can put in a name into their monks, their sort of viharas, and then they'll pray for your relative who's suffering, and these people are making a donation, but they're not necessarily expecting that it's going to be like they're just kind of, there's just that hope, right? What you're selling is hope. You're not selling the cure. You're giving some people like who might be in their like last moments, and they're like, I don't know what to do. Maybe I'll just put $10 in this app and get a whole bunch of these global meditators to pray for my son who's suffering from cancer, because I don't know what to do, right? I think that's where the angle might work. Not like, oh, if I use these people and then I don't get my result, then I won't use it again, because I don't know how you can measure that part.
But I think the idea, the concept has a lot of validity. I've actually researched around this subject matter quite a bit. So what he's saying, I'm fully in support of. I fully believe in its tangibility. But then I agree with what Isaac said about the monetization aspect. You introduced that. I think it's a very difficult balance to achieve, and not to mention it's a difficult one that even if you do achieve, how do you quantify your achievement? Which then leads into Liam's point. So there's something there, but bringing it into resonance, which is a very important thing, because intentions, people can have bad intentions deliberately. So there's a few things that just need to be ultimately put into balance. But if you somehow make it work, it will be cool. Huge challenge though.
You're muted, River.
Sorry, I had some banging upstairs.
We all got together and concentrated on turning your mic off.
I have an idea. It's kind of a spitball, maybe it's way out of what you're going for here. But what if it could be like a group meetup app where people who confirm their presence and actually show up to do a group meditative stage, it could be sponsored by the person who wants to put the intention in that place. And then the group of people all get together. You can prove that they're all there because they're sitting there right there. They do the little check-in when they arrive. And then you've got that group energy space, which is far more likely to actually manifest the intention than anything else.
Also, it's almost like hey,
like a
I'm
meetup
up $20.
Yeah.
And I want 4 people to show up at this time to do a 10-minute meditation with me. You each get $5.
Throw some AR, VR in there, and you might start resolving some of the issues. You got present.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's interesting. When Liam was talking, the idea that came to my mind, or a variation, and again, maybe this is a way that you start and you can eventually move to something where you actually have a marketplace where people are paying or whatever. But what if it was something more like post your intention on the blockchain and ask others to, have positive thoughts around it. And all you're doing is you're paying whatever it is to post it plus a small fee that goes to you. And then there's just a feed of these intentions people have posted, and you can go and you can click and be like, I meditated on this intention, and purely as like a voluntary thing. And so you're making a couple cents every time someone posts it. The miners are making a couple cents, and now it's permanently on the blockchain. And what you're doing is just showing it in a really nice UI and letting people interact and say like, oh, this person's dog is sick. I want to meditate on that for a minute. And then you just click a thing that says, and then you can see, 10 people have focused on my intention that I put up there. Right. And it lets you be anonymous and and just get off your chest. My dad is dying and I want some, help, and you post it for 5 cents, and then you get to see that a bunch of people thought about it or something, like keeping it more of a voluntary thing. Start.
I'm a bit scared of getting into the really serious requests, like about people who are on their deathbeds. Hopefully we can keep it moderated and keep it lighthearted.
Your responsibility is not that, though. Your responsibility is to focus on the platform, the idea of the sole heart of the platform. What is your actual intention? What is your goal to provide for, as a tool for other people? And I think once you nail exactly down what you want to provide, it doesn't matter what goes on outside. Like you can't control what other people think of, what other people dream of, what other people want. Some people, are very focused on the material aspects of life. And so they're going to be ones that are asking for money, for this, for financial gains, whatever else. And then there are other ones who are, please just help my son get through school, or please just, my grandma got a cold, or whatever else. There are so many different people. There are so many different aspects of life that would potentially interact with an app like this. So it's not necessarily, your goal to keep it lighthearted and to keep it like that. What you need to actually do is nail down your intention first before you go out and you branch out to invite other people to use it.
Mm-hmm. It's hard for me to imagine it not attracting people in those most desperate situations.
Yeah.
And to say, oh, sorry, you can't post an intention about somebody dying, like feels kind of like,
yeah,
wait, what? But I can about Peter McCormack. Okay, look, there's something wacky and zany in here, and there's also something kind of cool in here. But I can't quite wrap my fingers around a way to execute this that I really totally jive with. In terms of coming back on the second round, okay, look, right, it's interesting and entertaining enough, and that's a big part of what we're doing here. We want it to be fun. That I would like to see you come back with a working product, and maybe you say, screw all of our advice, I'm doing it the way I originally envisioned, and you get a bunch of people using it or whatever. I'd like to see it. So if you have a working product and you can prove that to us before you come back on, I would like to have you come back on and show us that. So I guess that makes me a yes. Liam?
Yeah, I'm a yes. I if anything, just for the experimental nature of it. I don't know how much of a business this might actually be, but just that experiment of putting that out and seeing how people interact with it, I think will be interesting.
I would like to find out what you want more of from us, because you had that ask and we didn't really touch back on that very deeply. I'm definitely interested in getting involved with something, meditative app, if we can find the right kind of niche, the right area, the right focus, the right intention. If there is a way that, we can find a solution to create greater good, to create enlightenment, to create, more spreading of love and laughter and joy and all those kind of things. And if there is a way that, by using an app that is possible to do, I'm all for being involved with that. So for that reason, I will say yes. But I want to hear more too. So yeah. Michael.
I love the idea. Outside of how it's been described from the monetization aspect, I think that's a difficult thing to find balance with. But the concept of global mass meditations, funny enough, Nassim is friends with, I forgot what the group's called, but they organize the largest global mass meditations. Their Facebook group has millions, they have millions of members that organize global mass meditations. It's very, very, very powerful stuff. In fact, they even go as far as to measure the Earth Schumann resonance when they do these events. There are changes, there are effects. So it's real science. It's real science. I'm not going to belittle. I'm not even going to call it mystic. This is real science. I can even talk on the physics of what it is that you're discussing. This is real science. So it's definitely something there in terms of what you're speaking on, but the execution side of it, I guess the way to monetize it would be if you get everyone to focus on BSV, go to the moon as the first intention, then I think you can. And then you could just have the whole thing open platform for everyone else and just let everyone do what they want to do.
BSV chart meditation.
But yeah, for me, yeah.
Look, the chart made a heart shape and a peace sign. Incredible.
And we can quantify it, right? But it's a yes from me just because I want to see where you would take it next. And I don't want to belittle the actual core idea because there is something there.
Cool.
Oh, thank you.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, because we're going to kick you out because we're running really, really, really late with the other guys. We're actually way behind. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your idea. And let's keep in touch, Ben, for sure.
Yeah, this was awesome, and I love
thanks, Ben.
I love how out of the box it is. So good luck.
Okay, great. Thanks for your time. Cheers.
Cheers, Ben.
I felt like we all could have brainstormed on that thing for like an hour.
Seriously, we've all right. We're gonna let the next person in, otherwise we're gonna
lose him.
Yeah, he's been waiting for 45 minutes in the waiting room.
All right, Mandy.
I'm still half expecting Jack to randomly pitch up.
I'm surprised that he hasn't already, actually. It was meant to be to have Liam on today.
Yeah, where is Jack? Maybe.
It's totally. I was just complaining about it, but now that everyone's here, oh no, don't worry, anytime.
Yeah,
your teeth
it's fine.
Your teeth go.
Oh, look at floating head.
Yeah, so
it's disembodied head.
Unfortunately, the background is white, and my shirt is white, and and I guess I've got white little bits on my teeth. It is what it is.
I love it.
You look beautiful.
Thank you.
The long wait we put you through, it was Liam's idea. It was like a psychological experiment. We wanted to see if we could break you.
That's what I was thinking. I was saying to my colleague over here, I said, you know what? If I was Elon Musk, I'd say when the show starts, I'd say, no, sorry, I'm not taking this call anymore. I'm not him, so I'll take it.
We're glad you're not Elon Musk. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Vincent.
Oh, geez, it's quite an open-ended question. My name's Vincent. I'm living in Berlin at the moment, and I'm originally from South Africa. And should I introduce a little bit about the product or not? Not quite yet.
Sure.
Just
Yeah. Okay. Give us. How did you get involved in Bitcoin, and then you can pitch your product after that.
So I started mining in Block 9, and it was pretty tough back then. Not the difficulty, that is. No, I'm teasing. Okay, how did I get involved in Bitcoin? So I think it's going to follow quite a similar story to most people. In the end of 2012, I first heard about Bitcoin, and myself and my best friend heard about it, and we were on holiday in Mauritius. We heard about it, and literally the next day we went to the business center, and we spent the rest of the day in the business center researching about Bitcoin, and we were blown away. We absolutely fell in love. So when we got back to South Africa in 2013, we started looking into Bitcoin more and trying to get involved. Let's say from 2013 through to the end of 2015, beginning 2016, I didn't do anything. I wasn't involved in anything. But then I started to catch up what was happening in Bitcoin. I was always under the impression that you can leave Bitcoin and it's always going to be good. You know, it's going to be sound money. Nothing's going to happen. The incentives are baked in. Fast forward to 2016, when I jumped back in and I'm reading, I'm like, what's SegWit and why are they restricting the block size? Wait, there was a block size debate? And this is when I started getting back in, and I was horrified with what had happened. So then, I would say from then 2017, I became more active, leading up to the August fork with BCH BTC. Then from 2017, I resigned from my job and I focused on promoting Bitcoin Cash in Berlin. So I started a meetup here and I started a meetup in Hamburg. And the split in 2018 November, which was BSV BCH, that put a nail in my spirit for quite a while, I must admit. But slowly but surely, I've got my energy back. So that's a little bit of my, I guess, timeline.
Welcome back, brother. Welcome back.
Yeah, good to be back. So a quick question: Why do you all have such nice backgrounds?
Because we're the judges.
Don't worry, your teeth look fantastic.
Oh, thank you. I just want to say, all the judges, you guys are looking great. Very good. I love your podcasts, BitStocks. Liam, Output Capital, phenomenal. Isaac, Dumpty Coins, the best. I'm loving Bitcoin's Got Talent. Just before we start anything, I'd like to put that out there.
Laying it on.
Just to butter up the judges a little bit.
And Liam is Output intern too. So I'm sure you love Output interns' tweets and writings as well.
He said that. Or did I imagine that?
Oh,
yeah.
I must have missed it. I was probably laughing.
Your head just got too big from him talking about the numpty coin.
Yeah. All right. What do you got for us, man? Hit us with it.
Okay. So I'm not too sure how I share my screen. I'll give a quick presentation.
Oh, hang on. Is it still working?
I'll give you a hint. It's a big green button that says share screen.
I see it now. I really should have looked before I asked her. Okay, let's give it a go. Okay, so first I'll share.
Yep.
New share.
Just make sure you don't have any private keys on that screen, huh?
No.
Liam will take them.
Okay. Tell me, is it sharing?
Yep,
yes.
we got it.
Yep.
Excellent.
Bob.
Okay, so what I will present is something that has been a work in progress for quite some time, I will admit. There's been many ups and downs, and it's been a project which uses as little resources as possible to try and get the most impact. So, Bob, what is Bob? Bob stands for Built on Bitcoin, and it is a messenger. So it's an on-chain messenger where every single message is stored, sent on Bitcoin and encrypted and decrypted on the client side. So what is Bob? It's a messenger, similar to WhatsApp, Telegram, WeChat. However, the big difference, you are required to pay to send messages. And it's built on Bitcoin. Yes, you have to pay for messages, but not to worry, it's built on Bitcoin. Therefore, the transaction fees are insignificant. Okay, so if we look generally at instant messaging, instant messaging generates far more transaction volume than, let's say, Twitter ever could imagine. The reason being is I'm not sending messages on Twitter to my mom saying, "Hey, Mom, what do you have for lunch?" and splitting that out into 10 messages and a few emojis. So there's far more transaction volume on instant messages than, let's say, Twitter. Okay. Now, the next slide I'm going to show you is a question which I received with regard to Bob. It's quite long, so don't read it, but I'll summarize it for you. So he was saying to himself, I thought about Bob, but why would anyone actually want to use it when I can use WhatsApp for free? What's really differentiating Bob from other platforms? So I would say there's four main things that differentiate Bob which is an on-chain Bitcoin messenger, to other services, first of all, one needs to remember that there ain't no such thing as a free lunch. So while you can use WhatsApp for free, while you can use Telegram for free, I should do quotation marks when I say free, there's hidden costs. There is nothing that is free. They do have revenue models built into the background, and one should remember that. So when you're paying per message, albeit a very, very small fee, you know what the business model is of the platform that you're using. Next, the users are more important than the platform. Now, I'm going to use Twitch as a prime example for this at the moment. Fortunately, because of some of the members of Numpties, they've managed to fund the encrypted post. And this allows a user to remove the access of the information to Twitch, and they can move it off to another platform if they choose to. So this is a shift in the paradigm where people are fearing being censored from Facebook or YouTube, or I guess they haven't got to messengers yet, but why would it not be on the list? A user shouldn't be afraid of being censored from a platform because of what they say. The platform should rather think how they want to keep their users. Okay. Next point I would use for how Bob is different. It can be used well for dispute resolution. And the reason being, as we all know, it is on-chain. So you can at least prove that a certain sequence of events happened. Yes. Okay, then the last bit, information is equal to money. If you look at the current messenger services, all of them have worked backwards to incorporate money into their product. I would say that probably WeChat they had both alongside each other for a longer period of time. But if you look at WhatsApp, they are testing payment features in their service. Whereas with Bob, because it's built on Bitcoin, you have money built into the system from get-go. So yes, here just have a very simple slide showing WhatsApp, Telegram, Line, which is a Japanese messenger, WeChat, which is the Chinese Tencent-owned messenger, and KakaoTalk, which is a Korean messenger. And they're all going towards payments. WhatsApp's testing some, Telegram, I'm not too sure, Line has payments, WeChat has payments, and I think Kakao also now has payments. Okay, so I've got some screenshots of Bob. I can take us to another slide where I can show it working live. So it is a working product. A little bit rough around the edges at the moment, but it is a working product with encrypted on-chain messages. Okay, we have a roadmap. So number one, just fix up the wallet, get notifications going, add some admin tools, include simple logging, which includes Twitch login, integrate Dimely, which is an important one. It's a wonderful service, which should definitely be picked up more because people should be paid to talk if their time is valuable and you want to speak to them or they want to speak to you. Then we're going to work on SDK and bot toolkit. Okay, so let me just jump through the next slides. And as your judges, I'm going to guess you're going to ask about revenue models. So we'll keep that for the Q&A perhaps. Okay, so just to finish off, there's some quotes which I think are very relevant. I can't show you where these quotes came from, but I guarantee you they're 100% correct and true. So here's Peter Thiel, very, very influential character. If a message is sent on Twitch, was it ever really there? Very thought-provoking. Twitch doesn't have on-chain messaging. And here's, who's this? Donald Trump. The frog is a KGB agent and doesn't want you to have on-chain messages. Let that sink in. Wow, it's quite amazing. So yeah, that's the run through of Bob. If there's any questions.
Now, obviously, these are going to be encrypted, right?
Yes.
Now, also, how fast can you guys get it? Because I'm not going to switch to, and I'm certainly not going to try to incentivize anyone if it's going to be as slow as Twitch Messenger, because it doesn't work. If I want to sit there talking to my mom and my friends and it needs to send, like I need to be able to see that it's sent and then it's arrived, you know, or else it doesn't work. Like these millennials these days, if it's slow, it's not going to pick up anyone's attention.
These whippersnappers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to need a little bit of time, to be honest with you. It's a slow work in progress, and little by little improvements are made. So I think if one were to look at, for example, the first version of Twitch, incredibly basic, but little by little they put one foot in front of the other, and they improve their service. So similarly, that's our approach. We want to slowly build out the product. Obviously, we wouldn't be able to target the mainstream audience, to begin with. It'd really have to be niched to begin with, and people who are really, taking the time, giving the feedback, and we can actually work on something better. And with revenue and traction, you then see more kinks in the chain, and you can iron them out. That's what I'd say there, River.
Oh, I've got a technical question, and this is maybe just because I'm a dumb, non-technical person. On the dispute resolution value prop, if you have, all these messages are going back and forth really quickly, and they don't actually get added to a block until whenever the next block comes, what's the time stamping mechanism, right? You can see, I know there's like the transaction is like first come transaction ordering, but from my understanding, that's not necessarily 100% an accurate way to show the actual time that things happened. Maybe I'm just not getting it.
Yeah. Well, I would also not be the technical one of the group. Sorry, I should say, I completely forgot. I've got two partners, and both of my partners are highly technical, highly talented. One's based here in Berlin, the other's based in Paris. I think he's based in Paris. And he's French.
Mr.
So suffice to say, you feel confident that the ability to prove a sequence of events is greater on this than a traditional messaging app.
No, most certainly. I mean, with regard to the transactions, they are already ordered in such a way. So within the transaction, from my understanding, non-technical, there's elements which allow you to order it. So you can actually see the sequence of events when you're on the chat and later on.
I think that's right. They're ordered, and then even before they get added to a block, I guess theoretically, I don't even know if a miner could change that order before they. I don't know. That's just probably just me being ignorant.
If we ever get to the point where a miner actually wants to do that, clearly it's a working product. And there's a lot of money at stake. So that would be a good thing.
Is it going to be an application? Because that's one of the things that's missing from the Twitch experience is an app.
Yeah.
I would go app route.
Yeah, at the moment it is web. With regard to app, we would want to do it. And we would want to add the notifications. So it would be one of the first things we want to get out of the way.
Liam, you look like you're having thoughts over there.
Well, when did you guys launch?
We haven't launched yet, so we've only.
But I have an account, so I must be really special.
We have invited a few people onto. Liam's also being invited on. So
wait a second, what is happening here? Michael, did you get an invite?
He just tried to butter us up.
It's a stacked jury, isn't it? Is that what you call it? So what happened is every now and again I've posted a Bob message onto Twitch. And if a person has replied to it or liked it or branched it, I've reached out to them individually and said, would you like to try it out? So Liam was one of them, and River was another.
Was I really?
So
am I
it's
just
my fault.
special? I don't think I
it's my
retweeted a Bob message. Come on.
River, I'm trying to make this look innocent, okay? Yes,
right.
you branched it, remember?
Oh yeah, I remember.
All right,
There
we
you go.
got to bring this thing home. So look, I love the idea. I think there's something cool here. I think your biggest challenge is going to be, what is the single value prop that you can make people excited about, right? Like, what's the one thing that you can do better than their existing options? I knew you can do multiple things better, but if you lead with too many value props, it's the same as not having any. It's kind of the typical wisdom for consumer apps. So I think that's going to be your biggest challenge, but I think it's got a lot of potential.
Idea is it's not wild, it's not out there, it's quite simple and basic, which means execution is everything. And this is an area where I actually feel quite strongly and passionate about, is we talk about discourse and having safe places of discourse. And what I don't like, what I've seen, is how fragmented discourse has become over the last couple of years with all the BS and the malarkey, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think just what Michael was saying, like in the instant messaging space, it's 100% about execution, right? This is not really, I don't think any of the selling points are necessarily super compelling that you'll have customers, jumping in to join your messenger. It'll be more the struggle. Like, is it just smooth? Like how quickly can I send this message?
Yep.
And I think that is going to be hard to compete if it sounds like, if there's volunteer devs working on the project. So that's kind of the biggest concern, really.
I'm going to give you a gift. This is going to put a chip on your shoulder, which might be exactly what you need. So I'm going to vote no on this, because I want you to get pissed off about that and say, screw you, I'm going to go build it. I think you need to shit or get off the pot. I think you need to go say, I want to do this. I'm going to go all in. I'm going to put together a deck, and I'm going to go start pitching investors to get this thing going, or not. Because I think you have something here. The concept's good. You've built something already. It's ready. It's ready for the big time. And you feel to me like you're languishing on whether you want to just keeping it as a side project that never goes anywhere, or take that leap. And so I'm going to say, because you don't seem totally sure you're ready to take that leap, I'm going to vote no. And hopefully that's the thing that makes you say, screw you, Isaac, I'm doing it.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, what makes a messenger app good is that it's fast and it's easy to use, is that I can easily connect with the people that I love. And so, it needs to be something that's really well polished. And for that, obviously, it needs to have funding. You want something that's really well polished, maybe something that's not so functional, like have all these crazy ideas, but something that works beautifully in exactly what it does, and in the simple functions that it has, that it's seamless, it's fast, it's perfect, it's beautiful. Kaboom. That's it. And for that, you need money, unfortunately. So, I'm all with that, Isaac. Go and get a pitch deck, get your business plan sorted out, go and get that to present it to investors. And if anyone is watching this here and is interested in investing, you know who to speak to. So, that's me. Do I go yes or no?
I will vote no. Oh, sorry. Did you finish?
I don't know. You go.
She didn't vote yet. She didn't vote yet.
Oh, sorry.
We'll let her think while Michael goes. Go ahead, Michael.
I'm going to go no for basically the reasons that you guys have highlighted, and mostly because you've got a good idea, and right now, to me, it seems you don't have the confidence to execute it. And I think this jab will hopefully you take it the right way and get the confidence to deliver it, because you do actually have something here, and it's not going to see the light of day until you look in the mirror and think, you know what, I'm about this, and I'm going to do this, and actually do really have something good here. And it doesn't necessarily have to be really aggressive funding.
No. Most certainly not.
You could find out maybe one of the ideas from the first individual, which is the crowdsourcing aspect, and maybe get people involved in building this properly and give them an interest in all future revenue in order to build this. Because you're building a community project, we're in the Bitcoin space, we should be thinking like Bitcoin companies. Maybe take what you're kind of already doing by having a guy in Belgium, having a person in France, and getting it out there and making that more of a functional organism to get this over the line a bit, and then maybe look towards more serious funding. But I think the most important thing here is you've got a good idea. I think you just need to believe in yourself more.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the fence. I feel like, yeah, with Bitcoin, especially with all these tokens out there, there's definitely ways that you can be creative to try to find, a way to fund your team and the project. So, I'm looking forward to having some sort of token idea that's pitched as a way to maybe get funding. But, until that happens, then, yeah, I don't know. I think I do agree with the sense of like, just that there's that uncertainty and maybe not so confident about how this will come through. I think I'll go with no for now. But there's definitely something here to kind of work on more.
River, you're tortured over there. I could tell.
My vote doesn't even count anymore. We've already got over 51%.
It matters.
Wait,
Vincent,
hold on.
look at this. Could be the difference between Vincent giving up or having hope. River, your vote is the most important.
I'm curious. Has anyone got all no's? Because if I am the first to get all no's,
we've had one person to get all no, I believe.
Have we? I didn't remember that because I was going to say if not,
very good shock to the system, to be honest.
Yeah, you could make an NFT, that was like all no.
And that's how you're going to fund your chat.
Yeah.
Come on, that NFT will sell for millions. Just having my beautiful face on it will be enough. I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. Oh my God. Okay. I'm going to say yes. Because I don't want to give you that satisfaction that to make you give up on your dreams. I think that if this is a really big dream for you, if you want to make this happen, I think that you should definitely go ahead and do everything that you can to make it happen.
Hey man, thanks for coming on and keep us up to date with what happens next with this thing. I love it.
Yep, cool. Thanks for the time.
Thanks for coming on.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks, Vincent.
Ciao, guys.
I've had to pee for like the last 45 minutes.
So if you have 10,000 messages happening a day, you're generating revenue, and you generate more revenue based on.
I like that math. You're generating. Let me calculate that real quick. Revenue.
I should have wrote these numbers down before. Oh my God.
Oh man, this episode just went like way over. Like, what the hell happened today?
That was awesome. I really enjoyed that.
Well, now I've got to get this almost 2-hour video down to 30 minutes.
Oh.
Just cut me out. That'll handle it right there. The hosting.
And you both have matching hats. Guys, so cute.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe I'll get rid of the hat then. I'll go with the crazy hair. I don't want people to think that
I love the hair. Leave it. It's fantastic.
I'm trying to suck up to Michael and by wearing the same outfit. You know what I mean?
We've got synced up.